Morning all. Alright, so preview video time. I'm aware of the review from last night. There seems to be an issue with the audio on phones. I can't get the audio on my phone. I do get it on my computer. So if you're on a desktop and you get the loading screen, any of the timestamps seem to work to get away from the loading screen. So, right? Good thing there's the timestamps there. I'm also uploading the video to the Entertainment Guy channel, and I will be posting the link for that. I can post in the description for this video. I'll be posting that as well on the community portion of this channel. So the community, it's fine. There'll be a community post. All right, so tonight, 4 games. And the audio issue seems to happen only with the really long videos that take a long time for me to get done. So that's great. That's fine. I think it's a processing issue because on my end it still shows last night's review as processing. The fun part of that is sometimes it means that ad revenues are affected. So sometimes it means, hey, you know that video you did last night? Yeah, you're not getting paid for it either. So great. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific start time for 2 games. One starts a half an hour after that, and then 2.5 hours later, we get into the Pacific Coast game of the night. So it's Vegas in against Pittsburgh. This one should be interesting, even though Marc-Andre Fleury is no longer a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. This should still be a fun one. Pittsburgh won this matchup in Vegas on January 17th by a score of 5-3. So tonight, Vegas is looking to even the series, and Pittsburgh wants to sweep it. Now, for Vegas, they're 32-23-4, and they've been having a really hard time scoring. Now they're going into Pittsburgh, a team that can shut them down. So they're 4-5-1 over their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row in regulation. They're 16-10-1 away from home. They're 4 points behind the LA Kings. They're 2 points ahead of the Edmonton Oilers. So yeah, Vegas is in some trouble here because Edmonton is actually below the line. Edmonton being slightly behind the Dallas Stars. I think it's 1 point behind Dallas. On the Pittsburgh front, they're 34-15-9 overall. Their last 10 games. They're 5-4-1. They lost their last game in regulation. At home, they're 15-9-5. They're 8 points behind Carolina. They are tied with the New York Rangers, who lost last night, and they're 5 points ahead of Washington. So if they win this one tonight, they can keep themselves within shouting distance of Carolina, although I think the division is basically Carolina's at this point. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Minnesota Wild in against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Minnesota 34-19-3 over their last 10. They're 4-6. They've won 2 in a row, including a kind of rough win last night over Detroit, but they'll take it. They're 17-13-2 away from home. They're 2 points back of St. Louis, who won last night. 1 point ahead of Nashville, who also won last night, and 4 points ahead of Dallas, who have been idle over the last couple of days and probably shaking their fists because nobody's helping them out. Columbus 28-27-3 overall over their last 10 games. They're 4-4-2. They have lost their last 2 games. At home, they're 15-12-3. They're 4 points ahead of Detroit, 7 points ahead of the New York Islanders, and a pretty large distance now away from the playoff picture. So Columbus, we'll see if they can bounce back in this one. This is the first of 2 meetings. These teams will meet again on March 26th. Then at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, the Winnipeg Jets. Washington's coming up. Winnipeg Jets in against the New York Islanders on November 6th. The New York Islanders go into Winnipeg and they win 2-0, and that was that 13-game road trip to start the season. Winnipeg 26-22-10 overall over their last 10 games. They're 4-4-2. They've won 2 in a row in regulation. Or no, they've won 2 in a row. I don't know why I said in regulation. Away from home, they're 11-11-8. So their road record gets a little bit better due to last night's victory. But they're 5 points back of Dallas, and they are 1 point back of Anaheim, showing how far back they are and how many teams they have to jump over, because that doesn't even account for Edmonton and Vancouver, who they also have to jump over to get into a playoff spot. The New York Islanders, 22-24-8 overall over their last 10 games. They're 4-4-2. They did win their last game. At home, they were 12-12-4. They evened up their record with that win last night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're 3 points back at Detroit. They're 5 points ahead of Ottawa. So, again, looking at the draft lottery picture, if you're curious, that's how far apart these teams are, or how close they're together. Then at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the Vancouver Canucks trying to seize and sweep the Washington Capitals. They beat Washington in Washington 4-2 on January 16th. They'll be trying to replicate that in tonight's action. So the Capitals are 31-18-10 over their last 10 games. They're 5-4-1. They lost their last game in extra time. Away from home, they're 17-7-5. They're 5 points back of Pittsburgh and the New York Rangers. They're 3 points back of Boston. So they're kind of stuck in that second wildcard spot. And if Boston starts to learn how to protect a lead late, that could give Boston at least the number one wildcard spot and leave Washington fighting against whoever finishes first in the East. The Vancouver Canucks, 29-23-6. Over their last 10 games, they're 8-2. They've won 3 in a row. And now they've won half the games they've played. So it's pretty heady territory for Vancouver. At home, they're 13-10-3. They're 3 points back of Dallas for that final playoff spot. Dallas does have 2 games in hand on both Winnipeg and Vancouver. But that also means they got to play 2 more games, which kind of throws everything up in the air since it's so many games in such a short period of time. They're 2 points back of Edmonton. They're also 1 point ahead of Anaheim, and they have a game, or I think it's 1 or 2 games in hand on Anaheim. So for Vancouver, they need the win. They'll probably be cheering for Winnipeg to lose their game and Vegas to lose theirs, because Edmonton is 2 points ahead of Vancouver. Vegas is 2 points ahead of Edmonton, so Vancouver's 4 points behind Vegas. So again, Vegas has got to pick things up. Vancouver's got to stay red hot. They have to basically keep winning at this 7 or 8 out of 10 rate in order to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. It's tough, but they believe in themselves. They believe they can do it. Let me know your picks in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.